Hello, it is Sunday, the 29th of April, and this is Morgan Pierce, and I'm here with my crypto diva counterpart, Jillian Gotzel, and we are here to present Good Week, Bad Week in Crypto. So, Jillian, you kick off with some news.
Okay, it's a piece of good news. Blossom Finance, they're an Indonesian finance company into hedge funds and all that. Last week, they became very prominent when they declared crypto is halal, so that the quarter of the population could actually invest. So up until now, it was kind of a grey area. And they've banded up with local VC company called PBMT Ventura, and they have now established a halal cryptocurrency microfinance fund. So that's kind of cool. So they're looking for, presumably, people to invest into, and also to invest into halal projects. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. And quick, considering that Sharia law report just came out like 2 weeks ago. So very rapid. Okay, so my first piece of news is that California joins Wyoming, Arizona, Tennessee, and Colorado with some legislation that they're proposing to take the securities and all of the registration information on California corporations and move them to the blockchain. And so that's another kind of thumbs up for blockchain technology. And actually, a friend of mine works for the state of California, and he used to be the CIO of the Social Security Administration. And it's not that he's not the biggest supporter of cryptocurrency or blockchain, but I don't think he's really taken, the amount of time necessary to look into it. And so now to see his own home state, California, make a move like that, I'm going to have to reach back and find out.
I was going to say, are you on the blower yet? I told you so.
I told you so, yeah.
That's funny.
My mom always told me, never say I told you so.
I think your mom is right, but in this occasion, you might do it. But I have a similar piece of story in France. They are slashing the tax rate on Bitcoin transactions. And back in 2014, they introduced a tax that taxed crypto revenue. They didn't, that's 2014, they didn't acknowledge Bitcoin, but any revenue made, and they were taxing it at 45%, so a very high amount. So now, as of the 26th of April, a few days ago, they slashed it down to 19%, the capital gains tax. So France could be a nice place to live. I could move there.
It sounds like France is starting to compete with Switzerland on some of the more favorable regulatory items. Okay, so my second piece of news is that Binance, our favorite exchange, has reported its second quarter earnings, profits of more than $200 million US, which makes Binance, and which has only been in business now, they're in their third quarter of operation.
Yeah,
they're more profitable than Deutsche Bank globally.
That is like amazing. I mean, I love CZ. He's a great guy. I saw recently he tweeted, he said, I'm going to stop giving interviews to journalists who are not hodling or who have not done anything with Bitcoin. I'm tired of being asked, is this all, for the dark net and for, he said, I'm really going to be interviewed by serious journalists. And of course, I interviewed him myself earlier this year. So, and actually I have a piece of news about him too as well, apart from that tweet, which I thought was interesting. He's been in Uganda recently, meeting all the top knobs there. And he's met with the Blockchain Association of Uganda, and he's very keen to bolster Uganda's economy with jobs. So, and obviously the African nations can see the huge value. So I think CZ's, I'm a big fan of his, I have to say. He's a good guy.
Me too. Any bad news?
Yes, I do. I've been starring out. The first one is kind of like, it's a funny one. It's Bitcoin Jesus, Roger Ver, of course. He's been sued, or is potentially going to be sued, by a number of Bitcoin investors because they said, obviously in August of 2017, with the hard fork of Bitcoin Cash, he's a big Bitcoin Cash enthusiast, right? And his website is bitcoin.com. So these investors, they put together a Telegram group. It's called bitcoin.com lawsuits/victims. And it said that when he's shilling Bitcoin Cash, but making it look like Bitcoin. So naive investors are buying Bitcoin Cash thinking they're buying Bitcoin. So at the moment, there's only 444 members of this group, and I haven't actually launched anything, but it looks as if they're trying to figure out, so that's interesting. I think it's bad news because it's not good to have this confusion. We need less confusion. And he is such a well-known name in the industry, albeit a controversial one in some way.
I think it is bad news. But he does own that website, bitcoin.com. So he does. Yeah. I think he's on a lot of weight, and so
yeah, I think he should do two good things. And I think the bad news is that the ERC20 tokens, they were all there was a problem, there was a bug, a smart contract bug discovered last week. It was called batch overflow, and a lot of exchanges actually stopped trading to ERC20 tokens. And of course, the vast majority of projects are denominated in Ethereum. So, but it was fixed very quickly. So good, bad that it happened, bad that there's bugs there because we don't like bugs. But good, it was resolved very quickly because by the end of the day, they'd open their exchanges again.
Right.
And then one last piece of news with Martin Lewis. He's the ITN, the money man. He is now suing Facebook for defamation because apparently there have been loads of fake ads run with his face and his name. And so they're all get rich quick based on Bitcoin, and they're total scams. He says so many people ring him, and of course, after the fact, and they've already invested $100,000 thinking it's him. So he's really, really cross because he is the money man. He gives very good advice. And he's just so cross that Facebook can take all the money for these ads and not check. It's provenance. Can't check that they're the real ads. And I mean, it's not as though he's like an unknown person. He's a huge name. He's a very big name in this area. So I think he's right. Facebook needs to get their act together in a number of areas. So is that good news or is that bad news?
I think it's great news.
We're not very fond of Facebook anymore. So it's good
because I'm not a fan of Facebook. So
Yeah, I think he's right because I would hate, obviously I'm not famous enough yet, but I would hate for someone to steal my face or name to cheat people. That's horrible. So I think Facebook, and they're taking the money for those ads, so I think it's probably good news.
Yeah.
Go Martin Lewis.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I have a piece of good news, and that is that Litecoin is starting to gain some real traction in the payments world. And Litecoin is built on the Bitcoin protocol, but it's built to be 4 times faster than Bitcoin. Bitcoin takes about 10 minutes to settle a transaction, and Litecoin takes about 2.5 minutes to settle a transaction. But the Lightning Network, which is the upgrade to the Bitcoin protocol, it turns out that the first transaction that was transmitted over the Lightning Network was a Litecoin transaction, and it went from Zurich to San Francisco in 14 seconds.
Wow.
So now we're starting to see some payment takers, payment processors, people taking.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting because one of the biggest things that cryptocurrency does need, one of the biggest hurdles that cryptocurrency does need to get over in the next very short time period, year or 2 years, is that more and more retailers accept Litecoin and Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency as a bona fide method of payment. So Litecoin is starting to really make some strides there. And then I have another piece of what I think is really good news, and that is, you might remember as a viewer that we covered a couple of weeks ago a story in Chile where the top exchanges in Chile had their bank accounts shut down by the banks. And so the banks are obviously very threatened by cryptocurrency because it completely disrupts their whole world. And they're so old and monolithic, and some of their systems are so legacy systems that are very, very difficult to change, that it's very difficult for a bank to kind of maneuver its way into this new world of cryptocurrency. And so they shut down their bank accounts thinking that would be the way that they actually finish those exchanges off. But the anti-monopoly court in Chile ordered the banks to reopen the bank accounts, and now the Chilean Minister of Economy has come out and said that he is in favor of supporting cryptocurrencies for Chile going forward. So I think
it's not funny how they want to shut them down using traditional methods.
Yeah, but that's the
way their bank accounts.
Right.
Yeah, it just shows how lacking.
That is a problem in the cryptocurrency to fiat world, is that there isn't really a bridge from crypto to fiat. There's a lot of friction going from crypto to fiat and fiat to crypto. And so one of the biggest things that needs to get addressed in the very short term is this ability to actually be a lot more frictionless when you move from fiat to crypto and crypto to fiat. And for companies that are based on cryptocurrencies, like all the startups that are, started since 2013, 2014, they need bank accounts. And a lot of them today can't get bank accounts. So that's going to be a real important area to watch, I think.
Yes, yeah, that's good. It's positive.
Yeah, very positive. Anything else from you?
No, that's all my news. Except I head out to Oman tomorrow I'm going to be chairing a conference and speaking at a conference on blockchain in Oman in the Middle East. So I'm so excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So from a market perspective, when we had our crypto good week, bad week session last Sunday, we were at about 396 billion. And as we record this, we're at about 435 billion.
Yeah.
So the market has gone up, almost 10% in the last week, which is fantastic. And I can't see any negative news coming on the trading front. So I think we can call it another good week in crypto.
A good week, definitely a good week. I'm with you on that.
Awesome. Well, enjoy Oman.
Thank you.
Good luck with the conference. I can't wait to hear about all the things that you learned when you're there.
I can't wait.
On good week, bad week, and have a great week. Have a great trip.
Brilliant. Thank you. Talk to you next week.
Okay, bye.